Otago County Schools began the new fiscal year on October 1st with a board-approved operating budget of approximately $109 million. This year's budget represents a 5% increase over last year's due to cost of living adjustments given by the legislature and supplemental state funds for specific projects despite the depletion of ESSER funds. This year's budget is the first one without ESSER since 2020. The drawdown of those funds required us to reevaluate the funding sources for several line items in the budget to ensure solvency beyond the loss of $8 to $10 million annually. As the county's public school system, we operate from three primary sources of revenue: state, federal, and local. As with most public funds, our budget is more than 2/3 earmarked for specific uses, meaning that the majority of all funding is required to be spent in particular areas. This leaves us with few opportunities to move funds where they are most needed. Public school budgets operate much differently than family or small business budgets because of the specific use categories. If we are allocated more funding than needed in a particular part of the budget, we do not have the flexibility to transfer the excess funds to another area. All funds must be used where allocated, or we are misappropriating funds, which is illegal. We understand that $109 million is a lot of money, but when funds are tied to particular expenses, even that amount of money leaves us short in some areas. State funding makes up a large majority of our budget at 63% of our budget. We also receive federal funding, which accounts for 9%, and local for 23%. By far, the state funding is our largest source of revenue and is determined by the district's total students or average daily membership, as it referred to. This year's funding is calculated from the previous school's year, as it is based on ADM counts conducted in the fall of 2023. For this fiscal year, earmarked funding for teaching units was cut by almost 9 positions. In addition to fewer teaching units earned, we're working through other challenges this year, including declining student enrollment in some areas and rapid growth in others. Use of heavy federal funding to support schools that don't earn sufficient teaching units in smaller communities, using teaching units to ensure schools have assistant principals and counselors, as not all schools earn those full-time positions, a continued increase in special education population that is not funded adequately, the requirement to implement state-issued curriculum without sufficient funding, maintaining after-school and summer programs developed during COVID without the funding used to previously run these programs, and a technology infrastructure that requires constant updating and outside vendor contract services because we do not have the funding to create the jobs necessary to get the work done. The district's current funding is also not adequate to meet the demands for instructional programming, building renovations, preschool, at-risk program, and deferred maintenance. In addition, all state revenue currently allocated for capital projects and bus renewal is going straight to bond payments, as the district owes nearly $47 million in outstanding bonds. As the 2025 stands, we anticipate a $200,000 surplus responsible for any unexpected expenses throughout the year. Projects like HVAC replacement, security cameras, mandated personnel such as aides for SPED students, and additional security guards. Any expense not allocated beyond that $200,000 budgeted excess will require us to pull from our reserves. As with any budget, whether it's public or personal, there are always challenges that must be solved. My team and I, along with the Board of Education and Superintendent Woodfin, are committed to balancing the numbers while remaining focused on student growth and development across the district. We work every day to prepare your children for the future by ensuring the district is financially sound and ready to meet the needs of its students, family, community, and future workforce. You may find more details on the district's 2025 budget, including presentations and reports, online by clicking on our web banner, acboe.net. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact the Business and Finance Office. Thank you.